put together a successful introduction. So a successful introduction has a couple of elements involved. First, you have some kind of attention-grabbing or leading phrase that opens your introduction. After that phrase, you then have to make sure that you have some introductory material that situates your reader into the material they're going to encounter in your thesis statement and also in later parts of your paper. The next piece that you need is your thesis statement, followed by a transitional phrase that moves you into the first part of your paper, the very first body paragraph. So we're going to continue to rock and roll with the thesis statement that I provided in the previous video. And I want to demonstrate how you set up a quality introduction that introduces this particular thesis statement. So, my eye-grabbing phrase, there they each sit, two sets of eyes staring out from the confines of the cages at the SPCA. From this very first leading phrase, we're curious. We want to know a little bit more about what we're going to encounter in this introduction. We get that we are going to potentially be talking about animals, right, with the SPCA. We have two sets of eyes. Are they the same type of animal? Are they different breeds? What exactly are we going to be encountering in this SPCA cage? Then I get the organized phrases to follow that situate this phrase and also my thesis statement. One is a little tabby cat, while the other is a little mutt. The object is to find a new companion, but the question becomes, what would be the best option? Instantly, images of the little tabby playing quietly on the floor dance before you. Comparatively, though, images of the mutt playing fetch in the backyard pull at the heartstrings. Reality hits, however, when this prospective adopter recognizes her responsibilities at work and the time she would be able to devote to a new pet. She also eyes the two potential pets and sees the cat quietly curled in the corner while the mutt is racing around the cage and panting as he goes. So notice that these organized phrases that follow expand on this sort of vague opening that catches our attention. We find from these organized phrases that there's a cat and a dog. We get the distinction that this person is looking for a new companion. We find these different pros and cons that she's already weighing in her mind in terms of these two options. So we get the general sense that there's going to be a choice and that the choice is going to be based on a carefully constructed approach to the different choices that she has in front of her. And then we get our thesis. She realizes that the tabby would be a superior option to the mutt because as a feline, it is largely independent, it is small, and it does not appear to pant and drool as the mutt. So in that thesis statement, remember, we also get the three body paragraphs that we're going to be focusing on, which demonstrate that one pet is superior over the other in terms of independence, size, and also the fact that there's much less cleanup involved. Then we have to transition into our first body paragraph. One of the primary reasons that seals the deal for this prospective adopter is that the tabby would fit the hectic lifestyle of a working woman. The little tabby is largely independent and would be able to be left alone far more than the active mutt counterpart. So notice that in this very first, or this transitional phrase here, I'm already picking up on this notion that the cat is independent. So I'm priming the reader to recognize that I'm going to be talking about this independence for that very first body paragraph. One of the things that I noted in your first round of papers is that either introductions were not quite long enough, notice how lengthy this is, at least 8 to 12 sentences in length, and also that your introductory information here didn't necessarily support what you were going to be discussing in terms of your thesis statement. Visually, I hope you're also able to see this sort of sandwiching effect that happens with your introduction. We get that one leading phrase that pulls us in. We get more background information about what's happening. We get the thesis statement, so what we're going to be arguing, And then we get that transitional phrase that moves us into that very first body paragraph. I will be creating a video that talks specifically about transitional phrases and also the organization of papers. But at this point, what you have at your disposal is a video on how to create thesis statements, a video on body paragraphs, a video on introductions. I will also be filming one on conclusions. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out.